Would you vote for One Nation? With Victoria's state election just 8 months away, Pauline Hanson has revealed that One Nation will be running candidates for the first time. The Herald-Sun reports that the party has registered to contest the November poll and is eyeing off several upper house seats, most likely in regional Victoria. Pauline Hanson, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Pauline Hanson, why would you contest seats in regional Victoria, given that you don't have a presence here?
I disagree with that. We've got a lot of presence because I'm receiving a lot of support that's coming through my office. People have fed up with the major political parties. Issues that are happening in Victoria, they're not being addressed. People are now, saying we need someone who's going to stand up and fight for us. You've got a lot of problems in Victoria, especially with the gangs that are down there, escalating crime. You've got Melbourne is becoming overcrowded, and people are not happy. So why not? You'll only get good government if you have got good opposition, and that has not been happening. So give the people a choice, and that's what I'm doing. Stand candidates there. We will present our policies in Victoria and let the people choose.
But Pauline Hanson, the crime rate in Victoria has actually fallen for the first time in 6 years, according to the latest data. Come on, you know damn well they actually fiddle the books with the data. You know that a lot of the crimes are not reported. They actually are swept under the carpet. They're not recorded. So that is quite evident. If you listen to the people in Victoria who are screaming out for something to be done, do you think that we see the images of what is happening in Victoria with the gangs that are on the streets, going into homes with baseball bats? You've got them going in businesses, smashing up the places. Do you think the crime is on the decrease? I don't think that's the case. Well, these things do happen from time to time, but that's not a reflection of what our state looks like overall. 99% of people don't live in fear from a Sudanese gang coming into their home in the night and smashing them up with a baseball bat.
You know that crime is on the increase there, and it was reported that they were not putting the correct crime across. Your policing numbers have been down over the years to what it was previously. There are big issues in the state, and unless you're honest about it and report it, and instead of covering everything up, I fear for the people of the state. they're furious about it. I listen to it all the time. I see it on my Facebook page. People are saying, wish you were down here in Victoria. We need One Nation down here to actually stand up for us.
You will be targeting seats in regional Victoria. We certainly don't have a problem with Sudanese crime gangs in regional Victoria.
No, you don't. In Sudanese Victoria, you've got a problem with not enough schools being built for the increase in population that you have.
But your policy is about Sudanese crime gangs.
We actually have a lot of policies right across the board, and even in Queensland here, a lot of the major political parties have picked up a lot of my policies over the years. So, we're not a one-issue party. We are dealing with education, we deal with health, we do immigration, escalating crime, the selling out of our country to foreign ownership. We cover a lot of issues, so we're not a one-issue party.
I guess the concern is that you appear to be cherry-picking some unfortunate criminal acts and somehow transposing these across the whole state and trying to imply to people who live here that we're all somehow barricaded into our homes waiting for a Sudanese crime gang to come and get us, when in fact that is not our lived experience.
Well, let's put it this way. I don't cherry-pick. I actually, I'm expressing the concerns that I hear from a lot of Australians. Maybe it's because these other politicians haven't got the guts to actually do it, and let's deal with the problems instead of letting it get out of control and out of hand. It is quite evident, and from the images, and I've said this before, of gangs down there that are roaming the streets, terrifying people, and unless you deal with the issue, how are you going? What are you going to do about it in years to come when it's totally out of control?
What other policies will you bring to regional Victoria which will benefit us, Pauline Hanson?
Look, I can speak about Queensland because I live up here.
Sure, but we're in Victoria, Senator? We're in Victoria. What are the issues? What are the issues in regional Victoria?
All right. Because I'm not going to tell you what you need down there. I don't live in Victoria. It's our candidates that we stand under the banner of One Nation who will represent the needs and concerns of the people in the electorate, these electorates in Victoria. It's like you got Bill Shorten, who is actually coming up to Queensland and telling us that we shouldn't have a darning mine up here. I'm not doing a Bill Shorten, all right? This is up to the people in Victoria, that the candidates that we have will represent the people's needs and concerns there. And
how can you say that if you don't know what their needs and concerns are?
I said that, I just told you. I said it comes down to the candidates that stand. They will be people from Victoria themselves who are standing for the election. They will have to listen to the people because that's important. Political parties have actually run their own agenda, looked after minorities too often, and they have not listened to the majority. That's why our country is in one hell of a mess, and it does need to be addressed, not from someone who lives a couple of thousand or miles away, but from someone who lives in the state. That will be up to our candidates. They will have to sell themselves to the voters to ensure that they are truly going to be a representative for their electorate. Sure,
but you have broad brush One Nation policies, which you'll roll out in regional Victoria.
Of course we will. Of course we will.
And which
yeah. And that's up to the candidates once they actually.
But it's also up to the party, isn't it?
And it's up to the candidates because the candidates who are representing their electorate, they must actually talk to their electorates. What is the main concerns in the electorate? What do you want addressed? What can I take to the floor of Parliament? And that's what I do as a representative for the Senate. I actually travel the state quite extensively. I'm constantly talking to the people. I understand what their needs are. I present that on the floor of Parliament. That is what a true representative does, not a political party hack who is only there as a numbers game, driven by party policy, who's driven by the unions or driven by big business multinationals. One Nation is for the grassroots people of this country that we intend to represent them. I'm not interested in the unions. I'm not interested in the multinationals. It's about time we got back to grassroots concerns for the people.
Senator, which regional seats will you target?
I don't know yet. I've actually called for people to come forward if they want to be a candidate for One Nation, and I think that's very important. We will have a very tight, stringent process for people to actually stand as candidates under the banner of One Nation, and that's where we're headed.
There are many who regard your party as bigoted, racist. And I beg your pardon?
Don't drag that tag out again because I copped that 20 years ago. You know, criticism is not racism. The whole fact is that a lot of these things need to be discussed. Our immigration needs to be discussed by all means, and people want that on the agenda. But too many people shut down. They won't discuss this. So, you know, these issues have to be talked about. And so, you know, I don't wear that anymore, and people are so over it. The only people who raise the issue about race is with me because they can't debate me, they can't answer the questions, so they try to shut me down with that. I don't accept it, I don't wear it, and the people are over it.
But, Senator, your policy says your constitution prevents you from asking the religion of those who seek to migrate to Australia, you say. But equally, we cannot ignore first, second and third generation migrants who violently reject Australia's democratic values and institutions in the name of Islam. Until we can find a solution to this problem, we believe immigration from Islamic countries should be limited. How's that going to play out in areas like Shepparton and Bendigo, which have fairly pronounced Islamic populations?
What I'm saying is that we need to actually address the problems and concerns that we have here in Australia before we bring more into the country. And I'm sure that a lot of Australians will actually agree with me that we need to address this. You can't ignore the problems that we are fast becoming in Australia. We have to look at what's happened to other countries around the world now who are starting to realise that multiculturalism has destroyed their countries. They're now starting to say, we've got to take back control of our own countries. And if we can't learn from that, we're fools. And I'm saying is, let's have a debate about this. Let's see what we're going to do about it to make sure that we have a nation where people feel welcomed, that they are going to assimilate into our society, proud to be Australians and given them every opportunity in this country.
Senator, just before I let you go, there is a report today indicating James Ashby, your Chief of Staff, didn't have a commercial pilot's licence while he was flying your aircraft with you on board during the 2016 election campaign. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct because it's beat up. He's actually he's a recreational pilot. He can, when he flies a plane around, and entitled to have a passenger with him, which he did. But a commercial pilot is one that actually takes payment for it.
Did he take payment for you as he flew you around?
No, he didn't. All right, so this is complete beat up. And because a year ago I questioned Shane Carmody, who was appointed for the position head of CASA, who's never been a pilot, he's never flown a plane. He is actually a bureaucrat from an infrastructure. So he hasn't got the knowledge or the experience to be head of CASA. Because I questioned his appointment to that, which was a political appointment, I feel this is a political witch hunt. James Ashby was interviewed about this by RA Oz. He was found to comply with it. This is now another beat up. And I'd say to CASA, how many people have they re-interviewed, opened up a case in the last 10 years when they've actually have had the tick of approval from RA Oz? Political witch hunt as far as I'm concerned, because it's one nation.
Senator Hanson, thank you.
Thank you.